and welcome to Hedgehog Hollow, and welcome back to our Saturday stamping here at Honeybee Stamps. Today I have a card that's going to showcase some beginner stamping ideas, but also a great hack to be able to use your dies in a different way. We're actually going to emboss with our dies on this card rather than cut with them. I'm using the stitch rectangles, so just another way to use your dies to get more out of them. So let's get started. So these are all the supplies we're going to be using for today's card. Now it may look a simple card, but we are going to show you how to emboss with your dies. So we're going to be using the Honeybee inside and out rectangles to get that lovely stitched lines around our cat. We're going to be stamping our cat, our sentiment, and sometimes you just want a easy, quick, simple, but sometimes simple and elegant is nice too. So I just wanted to show you something a little bit different. So this is a one layer card. So this is half a piece of Neenah Solar White. I'm going to fold this in half. And if you're using A4, you can just use half a piece of A4. Now I don't tend to use a scoreboard. I haven't found one that I find easy to use and that fits in my space and everything else. But the EK Success bone folder I really like. I think the Teflon ones are a little bit pricey, but this is nice. It's don't have any issues with it. I get a nice strong fold. I think it's a good halfway house between those. I'm just going to turn my Teflon mat over because I can see some blue on there and I just don't want it to transfer to my card. So our first step is I'm actually going to open this out just so it's a nice flat surface to stamp on. I'm using my Tim Holtz platform for this, and I'm going to use Curious Kitties. Now there is of course the dog version of this, you can use that too, but I just like this kitty who stands up in the middle. So we can kind of lay everything out to decide exactly where you want it to be. I have the Pawsome sentiment set here. So you've got Meow You Doing, So It's Been Rough, Friends Forever, You Left Paw Prints, and then you can put On My Heart, Catitude, I Woof You. I'm going to go for the Meow You've Been Doing. And I'm going to put my sentiment down here. I'll line that up perfectly later. And I also just want to make sure my cat fits in here nicely. So it's always great to be able to just play around with your card, particularly on a one layer card. It's really easy to lay everything out, work out where you want things, and then you can stamp out. And the other thing you can of course use are your Misty Corners. You can still use those in your Tim Holtz platform. So I have my L bracket, which I love here, and I'm just going to use this to make sure this is straight, and I'm going to move it over, and I can put it against this guide here at the bottom to make sure it's still straight, and I'm going to move it till I think it's around about halfway. I think that's it. So when you're doing a simple one layer card, the one thing you do want to make sure is that everything is lined up perfectly, because you don't have any layers or anything to hide behind. So that fits our cat. So I'm going to pick up my cat. I have a piece of foam underneath of this, and this is a video I did for scrapbook.com, and feel free to check out their channel and you can see all of my hints and tips there. So I'm going to now stamp out my kitty. And I'm using the My Favourite Things Black Licorice, one of my favourite black inks. I'm actually going to stamp her out twice just because I want it to be really nice and intense. Like so. So there is our kitty. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to emboss with our dies. So I'm going to use some TAMIYA masking tape. Again, everything will always be linked underneath the video in the description, so feel free to pop down there and have a look. We'll also have a link to a blog post on the Hedgehog Hollow blog, and you can check out some more pictures. Feel free to save images from there, anything that you may want to do. So again, I'm just going to pop this here. I think that's round about where I want it to be, but I'm going to use my Misty Corner just to make sure it's straight. And this TAMIYA masking tape is absolutely brilliant. I can put this on the front of my card. It's made for modeling, so if you do the painted models and things like that, that's exactly what it's made for. So the rubber mat's going to go in your sandwich instead of the thin die adapter. So you take that out. So what I've got is my main Big Shot base plate, and although I'm using a Vagabond, I still just use my Stampin' Up bases because they suit me fine. I use my normal cutting pad, then I use the rubber mat. This is the key to success, and then I have my glittery one on top because that always reminds me that this goes on top and my plastic clear one goes on the bottom, and it extends the life of my pretty cutting pads. Now when I remove this, and I'm going to carefully remove that masking tape, but touch wood, I have never had any tears with this tape, but of course there's always a first time. There we go. So now we can add our sentiment to the card. You can see if I lift this up there that this is all embossed, and it's embossed on that reverse side as well. And now we're going to add our sentiment. So I'm going to pop this back into my Tim Holtz platform. I am going to pick up my Meow You Doing, because I think it's so cute. And then I'm going to use my Misty Corner again. So I'm going to put it against this guide along here, and I'm going to slide it up, and the meow will catch onto that, and I can move it around so I know it's nice and straight. Now let me remove the cat from the lid, because otherwise of course I would stamp my cat and ruin my card. I'm going to put my lid down, and I can put it down with the Misty Corner still in. And I'm just going to try and do it of holding it here. I'm going to slide it out. So when I stamp down my sentiment in a moment, it'll be in exactly the right place. Now these stamps are quite sticky because they're brand new. You can just wash them with some Dawn or Fairy Liquid and warm water. That'll get rid of some of that stickiness. And also if it's a more solid stamp, then just use one of the sand erasers. So Meow You Doing is on there as well. Now I do want to add a little bit of colour just to my kitty, because I love the black and white, and we will keep it very simple, quite monotone, but I just want to add that little bit of texture in for fun. Now here I have my Chameleon Pencils, my new absolute favourite to colour with, and I love this little display case that they come in, so you can sit it like this. I'm going to pop it to the back of my work area there. And I just want to add some little highlights. So I'm going to choose a pretty pink. This is number 8, and this is the light side of number 8. I'm going to colour pink on the inside of his ears. And on that little piece in his nose. And that is it. So just those little highlights I think make it a really fun card. Of course you could create many of these with dogs, with cats, depending on the recipient. You could of course colour in the image, but I do like just having some simple one layer cards. Everyone thinks you need all these layers and complexity, but sometimes just something clean and simple like this is all you need. And I hope you enjoyed learning how to use your dies in another way so that you can emboss with them as well. So thanks for joining us today again at Honeybee Stamps. I will be back here again next Saturday, and be sure to join us then and subscribe to our channel. Happy stamping! Bye!